Ready, man?
Yeah.
Mrs. Hoodie sends a gift. She made these for us. Okay. So, that your name on it. It says K-Bell on it. Touch your gift. She said.
Certainly, thank you for being here tonight. Whether you live on the west side or the east side, you are more than welcome to be here with us. We are at the West Side Fire Station, also known as the Central Fire Station in the Emergency Operations Center. And you still have time to come if you would like. What we will do is we will recap high points of all of our departments. If I forget one or two, certainly remind me and we can bring those to our attention. And then we will field any questions from those that are in attendance tonight or those that are online. And so 2023, let's start with the Economic Development Corporation. The things that I believe are important for us to know, among other things, and certainly all of this information is available to all of us as citizens of Lamarque, but some things that I think that I found interesting is that sales tax revenues have increased year over year since 2012, so that's about 10 years, with the last 6 years being record sales tax in a row. Also, the Economic Development Corporation was able to infuse $1 million. Many of us don't know this. Didn't say this last time. I certainly want to emphasize this time. $1 million emergency via an emergency grant program at the early stages of the COVID pandemic. If you all remember, the Economic Development Corporation worked with the council on helping many of our small businesses stay afloat at times when many of our businesses were closed. Also, they committed to match the grant monies from the county road bond of 2017 upwards of $1 million so that we can extend our ability to repair many of our streets. And so, among other things, the Economic Development Corporation have been doing, such as working with the JMK5 group with the development of the dog track and many other economic development sites around our city. They've also been there for us in times of need, and they've went above and beyond the call of duty, in my opinion, many times to try to help this community move forward. The library, one of the things that I pointed out with the library on last town hall was that they are able to transform themselves from what we normally would believe or think of as a traditional library to now a community hub. Many of our small events are held at the library. Many unique clubs with unique opportunities to learn and grow and share in unique interests are now calling the library home, such as the Big Brother and the Big Sisters program in Lamarque, as well as a knitting group that has been gathering at the library. And so they've transformed themselves into a community hub, and they've partnered with many community groups such as Big Brothers, Big Sisters, the County Food Bank, the Tech City Independent School District, and many, many more to try to not only provide services that libraries traditionally provide, but to provide services that libraries need to provide in this new century. I also wanted to mention that they participated with our Mainland LULAC, one of our new organizations, and they participated in our annual Trunk or Treat program as well. The police department, the primary bit of information I believe is important for us tonight is that the Safe City Initiative is working. It's working. The first phase, the first year of the initiative has been implemented, and we found crime to be down. In the State of the City address, we will certainly share with you, not only in that address, but via statistics that you can touch and feel how far crime has dropped, but crime has certainly dropped. And the police department has been awarded the COPS grant, which will allow us to recruit and retain 6 new police officers to bolster our force so that we can continue with our Safe City initiative, as well as being awarded the TAPS grant for teen violence prevention to the tune of $66,000. We know that's important in our community because many of the violent crimes in our community were perpetrated by young people. Last town hall, I forgot to mention the courts, and I will mention them this time. Forgive me. The courts cleared 295 warrants, as well as $75,000 collected. Our fire department, as I said before, overworked. They are per man or per person the most overworked department we have. They lead us, all of our departments, in overtime. They have responded to 6,235 calls for this fiscal year. But what I failed to mention is even though they were overworked, they still were able to expand the car seat and the smoke detector programs and to develop a community CPR program and to begin the accreditation process of becoming an accredited fire department. So not only are they doing what's necessary to provide service, they are trying to advance and expand the services they are providing. The finance team had to deal with rollback and with other challenges of 6 of our high-level employees leaving. When they leave and they take sick time and vacation time and things of that nature. And so our finance team had to deal with rollback, which was hundreds of thousands of dollars that we had to return to the taxpayer, as well as upwards of $500,000 that we had to fine because of the departure of 2021. Let's move now to our IT facilities maintenance, PIO. Certainly we know that they have been instrumental in all of our technological advances within our city government, but we added this year the public information officer, who has been instrumental in promoting our city, as well as promoting festivals and events within our city, as well as now beginning to inform and educate our citizens on the role of their city government. Developmental services certainly have been able to work with the JMK5 group, as well as Delaney Cove, Ambrose Subdivision, Sunset Grove, Woodhaven Trails, and Woodhaven Lakes, along with other groups vying to become part of our city, whether they be residential developments or commercial developments, to grow our city. Code enforcement has now brought down the number of complaints on the request tracker to near zero. Our city clerk has been able to now provide information concerning our public information requests online, among other things. She has now had her role expanded, as well as her department cut by 1 person. Our human resources department, we failed to mention them on last time, hosted and held our summer internship program for 10 to 15 high school students, as well as conducted numerous investigations within our city on last year. Our public works department primarily did repairs because we are a department that's small in number, and we are a city that's small with our financial abilities, if you understand that. Primarily, we are a city that can do repairs, and so that's what they did, and we'll have those numbers for you in the state of the city. But also they worked with our administration to develop a plan to stabilize our water rates so that we can make sure that we are having a balanced budget in every one of our departments. Administration basically is a new administration, and Mr. Garcia has brought a lot of energy to our city and a lot of innovation to our city, and we're progressing and moving forward as a city, trying to do all in our power to make sure the services we provide are adequate. The last thing I will mention about the police and fire, both of those unions successfully negotiated with our negotiating team collective bargaining agreements that we hope will be able to keep our police and fire departments competitive. That's important because the more experienced officers we can retain, police and fire, the safer that we will be as a community. That is an update on our departments. Certainly we'll open the floor for any questions at this time. Name and address, Mr. Osteen.
James Osteen, 2012 Jaredona Street. What I want to talk about is I've been dissecting last year's budget, and I see some issues I want to discuss with the council and maybe make it a little bit better. I want to start with small tools.
Okay. What department, James?
Yeah, small tools, it's every department.
Every department, gotcha.
I went through every department
Gotcha.
last night to see how much they had put in their budget for small tools. It was $30,700 for small tools. I looked at the estimate they had for 2020 ending, and it was they used $13,912, but the real number is $15,500 worth of tools. I don't have a problem with that. I've got to buy tools. That's not an issue. What I'm having a hard time understanding is, I'll start up here at the top. A company called Thurkettles Corporation, Department 21, they bought $973.71 worth of tools. Now, I looked them up on the internet, and they said something about meters.
Meters?
Yeah. So is that meters, or is that $973 for the tools that they bought? Everything I'm going to bring up tonight was in the tools.
Yeah. When they said meters, what type of meters?
Water meters.
Water meters, okay.
Now, I don't know if they sell something else in the way of tools or what. Rick Mike can tell us. But I need clarification on these to see if they're tools or if they're something else.
Okay. Hold on just a minute, James. Are we taking notes? Rick? Okay. All right. Go ahead, James.
Okay. Brookside Equipment Company, $551.99 worth of tools. Is that tools that they bought, or is it something else they bought there? GW Parts Group, which is a parts house, $569 worth of tools. Brookside again, $815.98 worth of tools is what's in the budget. Under your line items, they call them tools.
Mm-hmm. Small tools.
Okay. And what they call them is small tools.
Right. In the line item you're
Yeah.
referring to. Right.
Here's another one from a company called Auto Plus, $357 worth of tools. W.W. Granger, Street Department, $2,171 worth of tools. Now, is that tools or is that equipment or what is that?
You said W.
W. Granger,
Granger, and you said 2071.
$2,171.
Okay.
Ferguson Enterprise, Department 22, $816 worth of tools. And here's another one, from Lowe's, Street Department, $676.33 worth of tools. But I got about 50 more here that's in the $300 and $200 range for tools.
Right.
Now, y'all need to know if them were tools or what it is, because if they're buying parts and writing it off as small tools, you know, that's fraudulent. You know, that's misrepresentation to the citizens and to the council. Now, this may be all tools, but I'd have to see it. And the only way I'll be able to see it is look at the invoices, which I'm not privy to that. I got all this off the website.
Right.
Went through 90 pages to get this information last night.
Right.
And I seen Rick here earlier. He's not here now.
He's behind you.
here.
He's behind you.
Would he answer them questions tonight?
I'm going to ask Caesar to respond to that because,
Okay.
as you know,
Or
that's
maybe Caesar can respond to it.
that's let's be clear though, James, so that for everyone here and those listening at home,
Okay.
these questions are obviously in the city manager's purview as council.
All right.
We don't get into that area of our government unless we inquire because of some sort of concern, right?
Oh, sure.
And I know that you know that, but we just want to make sure that the people out in the public knows
Yeah.
that this is the city manager's purview, so we're going to defer to him and his staff for answers.
Okay, and here's another one from Ferguson Enterprises, Department 22, 669. And I don't have any problem with the tools, buying tools. But if they're not tools, I want them separated on the line items.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Again, thanks, James, for your questions. We're going to defer to the city manager and his staff.
Mr. Osteen, and if it's possible, I'd like to take some time to meet with you to go over all these expenses. I know Rick has answers to some of them. I don't know that we have for all of them, because obviously we had just found out, but if we can have some time to sit down and go over those, we can provide all that information for you. And for anybody else who would like to have access and have those questions answered. But Rick is present, and I'm sure when we're done, we might have a chance to start talking about some of those. Thank you.
Any more questions? Any further questions? Wow, we apparently doing a great job. A few items that we certainly want to discuss because those items have been in the news. There was an incident that happened on December 14th at our City Hall, where our city manager was attempting to assist a citizen. And in that attempt, many of our employees felt that their lives were in danger. And so we were alerted as a council to this incident. I believe it was the previous two meetings. The council reviewed reports and statements about the incident. We spoke with Mr. Garcia about the incident. We spoke with our city attorney about the incident. And the council came to a conclusion. Let me share with you, first and foremost, every council member that worked with this, which was all of us, share in the fears and the concerns of every staff member that we have in our city. We value you as staff members. We value your safety. We care about what you think, and our doors are always open. And it was with that in mind, the council reviewed the issue and those issues that were presented, and we made a determination. First and foremost, there was not a policy that Mr. Garcia violated. And so we directed Mr. Garcia to work with Mr. Knable, our city attorney, if you remember, in open session. And part of what they will be working on is developing a policy so that we will have a policy to hold any of our staff members accountable in like situations. Secondly, Mr. Garcia has agreed to 30 hours of training as it relates to emergency response. And I believe he is enrolled currently in a training class, and he will complete by year's end 36 hours of training. And finally, if there was any discipline action, I'm not saying there was, and I'm not saying there was not. It was between, and it remains between, the council and Mr. Garcia, because Mr. Garcia is still a city employee who has rights as an employee. And unless this council is moving toward terminating him or removing him, he has a right to privacy if he is receiving disciplinary action. Just know the council heard you, responded to you, and we believe that that the plan of corrective action will be one that will be effective and beneficial to us as a city. Any questions? Caesar, do we have any questions online?
No, sir. No questions.
Very good. Lastly, I'll remind you, I said this to the our other town hall meeting. This year, what we will see in our city physically is we will see work being done on our sewer infrastructure. We have seen already this year work being done on our streets. We will see work being done on our water delivery infrastructure. We will see work begin to be done on our stormwater infrastructure. We will see our downtown area come to life after years of planning, as well as hopefully a new state-of-the-art concert venue that will provide jobs and sales tax and hotel motel tax and all sorts of other economic values to us. We'll see all that this year. I believe the council in this coming year, I believe we have to begin to look internally. I believe we have to begin to look at our departments to make sure that we are running efficiently, to make sure that our alignment is appropriate for a city our size with the needs of our community. That goes from our public works department to our police department, and every other department that the council may see fit to examine. But the goal of that examination is to streamline services so that we can be as efficient with your tax dollar as possible. Ultimately, I believe that with the opportunities we have on I-45, I believe that we have the opportunity to reduce our property tax rate very significantly. And because of that, I think that we have a very, very important opportunity before us. And so I see a question in the back. Chief Smith.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Please come forward so that they can, just as Chief Willamon Smith, he is a resident. Give me your address.
This is going to be a quick question. If y'all blink, y'all might miss it.
Give me
You
your address,
mentioned
Chief.
Wilman Smith, 1515 Duro here in Lamarck. You mentioned the new state-of-the-art concert venue.
Yes.
What could you tell us about that?
What we know now is we have met with JMK5. That's the Karam families. They are the developers of this property. They've closed on the deal. They have initial designs. Help me, Kathleen. Help me with the legal aspects of this because I don't want to misspeak. And I believe they have already started work on the interior renovations of the facility. The timetable for opening will be. Kathleen, just give me a date. What's the timetable for opening, please?
Sure.
What is their timetable for opening?
It's probably a year out. They have.
It's a year out.
Yes, they have done demolition on the interior and some of the exterior windows, the doorways and all, it has to happen first. They recently submitted, plans, some civil plans to us for demolition and detention.
And the
that we're
location is
reviewing.
where? The location?
At the event center, the.
Dog track.
Former dog track.
Dog track. And so it's scheduled to seat about 11,000. It will be enclosed, not open air. They will have a hotel on site. And the other properties, many people have asked us how we can be so sure that the Karam family is moving forward because they have for sale signs all around the property. Well, the Karam family is moving forward with a state-of-the-art event center. But they are also selling the other plots and parcels of lands around that to other developers. And so while they are developing certain portions of it for their family business, they're also selling portions of it for other businesses, maybe other hotels, other restaurants, other retail establishments. I don't know who they are, but that's the development. And again, we hope that it will bring jobs. It will bring sales tax, event tax, hotel motel tax, and other opportunities for sales tax. Again, we have the largest stretch of 45 in this county, and if we were to even loosely follow the model of a city like Webster, we can in this county become such a retail force because of the proximity of where we are. I believe it can reduce our property tax to a point that it would be significant, and it would be attractive, and it would be transformative for our community. I believe that's the path that we're on.
These kind of developments, they take quite a while to
That's
come
what I
into
said.
fruition because there's so many different parts to them.
I appreciate the explanation because that was one of the questions that I would often encounter. Folks would ask me, they would see the for sale signs around the complex, but, it was kind of out there that, okay, something's going on with it. And so your explanation kind of really explains it. Thank you very much for that.
Right. Very good, very good. Any more questions? Any further questions? Did you have a question?
Caesar, it's rather you.
Yeah.
Can we say something about the homicide? It's out, as far as.
Yeah. Chief Argon wants to approach our police chief. He's going to give us an update. As many of you know, those of you that are in the room and listening online, we had a recent homicide in our community, and you're going to give us an update.
Just do an update. It's right down the street, Sunset Grove, 1303 Green Jay Lane. Mary Rios was found deceased. She was 57 years of age. The suspect, Carlos Balcazar, was arrested, and it's 2 days later. That's pretty good. Good evidence. He's 34 years of age. He's been charged with tampering with physical evidence, which is a felony. We've been off 2 nights working with the U.S. Marshals, the Sheriff's Department, and so forth. So right down the street there. and it was not a random case. He knew her. Any questions?
I have a
That's all I
question.
can release right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Business owner?
I'm sorry.
Was that the business owner local? Mary Rios, was that the business owner?
No, she worked with, she was like a cleanup person here before they sold the house. Maria Rios. That's all I have. That's all I can release. Good case, good evidence, and that's the work of your department.
Good job, Chief.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good work.
You have a question?
Very good. Chief, I guess I had a question for you, and you may or may not be able to answer this. Since you know the victim, and you know who you all would consider the suspect,
Right.
Are either of those individuals, were they supposed to be in our community for any reason?
I'm not sure about her. He's not supposed to be in the United States.
Okay, so he doesn't live in Lamarck.
Well,
Okay.
he lives in Houston.
Got
That's
you.
where he was arrested.
Got you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we just want to continue to push the point that, unfortunately, the majority of our crime in this city is perpetrated by people that don't live in our city.
That's correct.
That's correct.
She was from Rocheron.
So she was not even from here,
No, she don't live here, but she worked here.
right?
Sunset Grove. And I'm saying that because it's, half a mile down the road there. Make
Right.
everybody feel better, okay?
Right.
Any questions? Any questions, Caesar?
No, sir.
Okay.
Again, any questions? Well, we thank you all for coming. We want to acknowledge again the presence of our Hitchcock, City of Hitchcock Police Chief, Chief Willamon Smith, who is also a very active resident of the City of Lamarck, as well as a council member of District C, Mr. Michael Carlson, is with us tonight. Again, we thank you all for attending, for listening. Stay tuned for February 7th, where we will have our State of the City. More of our statistical and factual information will be added, as well as an agenda for this coming year for our council. We look forward to seeing you on February the 7th. Thank you.